Okay, so someone asked me for help given an equation to figure out if there is one specific solution, no solutions, or if all real numbers are solutions. So basically what we're going to do is, I'll start with this first one up here. We're going to try to simplify it, and you can kind of start by assuming that maybe there is just one solution. Maybe there just is one value for v, and trying to figure out what it is. And you'll either end up going down to the point where you know what v is, or you realize that you have something that's impossible, or you realize you have something that's always true. So let's simplify both sides of the equations. Let's start by simplifying this side of the equation. So I'm going to distribute the 4. Okay, so I'm going to multiply the 4 by the v and the 4 by the 1. So what I get is 4v plus 4. Okay, so that's this. Okay, minus v. Okay, so this minus v is right here. Equals, okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute the 3. Okay, so 3 times v is 3v. And then 3 times negative 1 is minus 3. And then I still have this plus 3. So plus 3. Okay, let's simplify a little bit. 4v minus v is 3v. And I still have plus 4. And over here I have equals 3v. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to put everything that has v in it on one side and everything that is a constant on the other side. Since I already have a constant on this side but no constant on this side, I think it makes more sense to leave the 4 over here, so I only have to move one thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 3v from both sides. So 3v minus 3v is 0. So I just get 4 left on this side. And over here also, 3v minus 3v is 0. So I get equals 4. So is it possible that 4 equals 0? No. 4 is never going to be equal to 0. So that means there's no solution, right? There's no, I don't want you to think that I'm saying that's not possible. So let me make it a check. Let me erase that. Okay. Check mark. Right? There is no possible value of v that I can plug in to make 4 equal 0. I mean, even looking at it from this step right here, 3v plus 4 equals 3v. Is there any number that I can plug in to make 3v plus 4 equal to 3v? Well, no, because whatever 3v comes out to be, this is going to have to be 4 more than just 3v, right? And so no number is 4 more than itself, right? So basically just kind of thinking about this whole thing as a whole, right? If this is true, right? Or rather, if the original thing is true, right? Then if the original thing is true, then this also has to be true. And if this is true, then this is true. And if this is true, then this is true. And clearly this is not true, right? 4 is not equal to 0. So if 4 can never be 0, right, then it's not possible for this to happen. It's not possible for this to happen. It's not possible for this to happen. So there's no solutions. Because remember, when you're trying to find solutions to an equation, you're trying to find every possible value of v that makes it true. So now let's look at what happens when we look at this one. Okay. So again, I'm going to distribute. Okay. So what I get is, let's use blue again. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times y is 4y. I still have that minus y. Don't forget this one right here. So I just distributed that. And then equals 6. And then distribute the 3. Okay. So plus 3y plus 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, and remember, our goal in solving an equation is to figure out what values of y make this true. Okay, sometimes there'll only be one value, sometimes there won't be anything, sometimes there'll be an infinitely many. So let's see what happens. Let's start simplifying. So first let's do 4y minus y. So that's going to be 12 plus 3y. And over here, okay, 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 3y. Okay, now you might be able to see the answer from this step. If not, I'll take you to the next step. But you might realize that 12 plus 3y is always 12 plus 3y, right? No matter what y is, 12 plus 3y is 12 plus 3y. I can plug in y equals 1. It's true. I can plug in y equals 2. It's still true. I can plug in y equals negative 7. It's still true because this is 12 plus 3y. This is 12 plus 3y. And remember, we're trying to figure out, what values of y can I plug in to make it true? And the answer is that no matter what you plug in, right, it's true. If you don't see it from this step, that's fine, right? You can go on and you can say, all right, let's put everything with y on it on one side. So maybe let's put all my y's on this side and all of my constants on this side. So to put all my y's on this side, let's do minus 3y from both sides. So we would get, right, these would cancel, and we would get 12 equals 12, which is always true. Again, you could take it one step further if you want, right? You could do, minus 12, just to put, the constants on both sides and get 0 equals 0, okay? You don't have to take it to these steps, right? As soon as you realize that you have the same thing on both sides, what you realize is that, you get the same equation, right? So that every single value makes this true. As opposed to, this doesn't have any examples where you just have one solution, but let me just give you a quick example of that. Okay, so if we had something like this, 3y plus 1 equals 2y plus 4, and we want to know how many solutions are there, right? Is there just one solution, infinitely many, no solutions? So we go through the same steps. So we distribute 3y plus 3 equals 2y plus 4. Okay, I can subtract 2y from both sides. So what I'm going to get, I'm going to end up with 1y plus 3 equals 4. Subtract 3 from both sides. I get 1y equals 1, or y equals 1. So the point of going through all of this is I'm saying, okay, what does it mean to solve this equation, right? Solving this equation is saying, what values of y can I plug in to make this true? And you can check it. You can say, okay, if y equals 1, is this true? Well, 1 plus 1, that's 2 times 3 is 6. And then 1, that's 2 plus 4 is also 6. So plugging in 1 works. It makes this equation true. And by going through all these steps, what we've seen is that y equals 1 is the only thing that makes this true, right? Because this is true in the exact same situations, then this is true, which is true in the exact same situations that this is true, which is true exactly when this is true, which is true, this is only when y equals 1, right? So this is true only when y equals 1. And let's just go back to the previous slide. When we looked at this one, what we realized was this is true never, right? There's nothing I can plug in for v that makes this true. And when I looked at this one, I realized this is true always. I can plug in anything I want for y, and it makes it true. So sometimes there's just one value you can plug in, and then when we get to polynomials, we'll see there's more. But for linear equations, right, there's just one value you can plug in that makes it true, or there's no values that make it true, or you can plug in anything and it makes it true.